And did we get our St. Patty's Day pregame on today or this weekend? Did we? What did we do this weekend? People write in. Give us a little heads up. What you got going on lately? Got them midterm blues? I feel you. You got to take them. I got to grade them. A little Lo-Fi local for you up top. Don't forget to check out Friday's Lo-Fi Global Press article on presidential versus parliamentary democracies. Which is better? Which do you want? And also check out Thursday's Lo-Fi blog post talking about weird food and write in with the weirdest food you ever had that you really, really liked. lofipolisci.com is a place to find both of those things. Now let's jump into it all. The show. Lofi Poli Sci coming at you. Michael Pickering here talking about our famous question, what's going on in the world today? And 100 global news stories coming at you. Yes, it's that time again. Once a month, we look at 10 different media platforms, online, web browsers, websites, in the international news section. The first 10 stories on each. And then get 100 global news stories. A taste, if you will, of that Western media landscape as it relates to our famous question, what's going on in the world today? And we did this yesterday, March 12th at 10 a.m., and the sites are Associated Press, aka AP News, the BBC, NPR, Reuters, Fox News, CNN News, Washington Post, New York Times, Google News, and Yahoo News. And we did the world section of all 10 of these. And yes, we know, Google and Yahoo aren't news creators, but they are news aggregators. And what we're concerned with is where people in the West, in particular the US, get their international news from. And these 10 account for a lot of that news consumption. So let's go. What did we find? We found that out of the 100 global news stories, there were 57 different stories present. And my friends, we've been doing this for over a year now, looking at these kinds of data, and, of the time that we've done it, this is the most diverse news cycle sample we've seen yet. That's pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. And our top 5 stories and the number of appearances, you may be asking. Number 1, Russia-Ukraine war. 11 stories. So 11% of the 100 articles were about Russia-Ukraine war. Number 2, Saudi Arabia and Iran normalization of diplomatic ties. Big story there. We're going to talk about that soon enough. 9 articles out of the 100. Number 3, multiple Palestinians lost their lives this weekend after raids. 7 stories about this article. Number 4, Saudi Aramco profits were massive in 2022. 5 stories about that one, and we'll probably be talking about that as well. And number 5, or tied for number 5 and number 6, a fake story out of Iran about prisoner swaps with the U.S., or at least so saith the U.S. Is it real? Is it not real? Well, we'll find out. That story was also tied with a BBC caster in crisis for comments made. Both of those stories, 4 stories, 4 articles each. And that's our top 5, which together, these 5 stories accounted for 40 articles together. Meaning our top 5 stories take up 40% of all 100 articles. When you put it like that, doesn't sound like this was too good of a day for diversity in the news anymore, right? But let's compare it to last month and see how things have changed, because remember, we just had the 1-year anniversary for the beginning of the Russian-Ukraine war. And last month, our top 5 stories, they made up 68% of 100 articles. So this month's 40% is much better for news diversity. Plus, last month, there were only 28 different stories covered out of the 100 articles. This month, 57. That's double the amount of news diversity from last month to this month in our samples. And our top 2 from last month to this month? Last month, it was number 1 with the earthquakes in Syria and Turkey, with 36 articles. And number 2, with Russia war, 19 articles. This month, the earthquake doesn't even make the top 5. And in fact, they only had 2 articles about the earthquakes compared to 36 a month ago. And the Russia coverage has decreased from 19 stories last month to 11 stories this month. But still, the Russian war has remained either number 1 or number 2 every single time we've done this for over a year now. It is the dominant story in international news feeds. However, it doesn't appear as often as it once did. And for the moment, that is. That news diversity is increasing compared to last month and 2 months before that. But hey, why don't we compare this to last year at around the same time? Because last year we did this on March 13th, 2022. Same website, same format, and all that. And on that day, just weeks after Russia invaded Ukraine, 68 of the 100 articles surveyed were about the war. And there were only 17 different topics within the whole 100 articles. It was the least diverse sample we had seen over the past year. Versus a year later, we see the most diverse sample we've ever seen. And the war is still number one, but decreasing in the amount of times it's written about. So all in all, what's it all mean? Well, on the face value, it looks like our samples are getting more diverse and are expanding beyond wartime news, which is good because it's a big old world out there, about 200 countries in the world. Diversity is good. But is it really what we're seeing? Because when you look over the titles of each of these articles, when you look at the international news sections in general, everywhere, especially these 10 platforms, the same countries pop up time after time after time. Russia, Ukraine, Saudi Arabia, Iran, China, UK, US, France, Yemen, North Korea, India, Germany, Israel. And it's all conflict news. Like, it might not be war news, but it's conflict. Political, violent, economic. It's all negative news. And that, my friends, is an issue. Or is it? Write in, because as always, I'm curious your thoughts. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Don't forget to check out lofipolisci.com for the latest Lo-Fi Global Press articles and blogs. And always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Talk to you tomorrow, Lo-Fi listeners. Pickering, signing off.